Good morning, watch nerds. Now, I saw this reviewed a while ago and I couldn't make up my mind whether I liked it or not. Of course, since then I've come around to its aesthetics, but whether or not I'll end up bonding, who knows. Now, Maystone is a British-based microband, and being a Brit myself, found this a bit of a draw. Now, this colour is the Golden Eagle, and all of the colours in the range are named after birds. I'll leave a link to the website below. However, these are presently the colours in the range. So bearing in mind this is a microband as opposed to a Chinese factory brand, and bearing in mind this is a well-spec'd watch, as you'll shortly see, what will one of these cost you? Well, it's presently about £349, which I think is very good value for money, especially as it's got a half-decent Japanese GMT movement inside it. Of course, you're going to have to make up your minds whether you think this is good value or not. I do. Worth noting, I bought this one used, so you may see a few minor marks on it. And welcome to my unpaid and unsponsored review of the Maystone Prosperity. So before we move on to the watch itself, this is the packaging it came in. Now, there's a cardboard outer box and inside is a rather nice leather type pouch. It feels quite premium, and if the watch cost a lot more, you'd probably feel the packaging is in line with the product, so no complaints there. Now, I believe this is a dressy sports watch, although there's an argument to say it's a sporty dress watch, and in my opinion the measurements are just about perfect for this type of watch. Now, the case is 38mm, the lug width is 20mm, the lug to lug is 46mm, and the depth, including a flat sapphire crystal with AR coating, is just under 12mm, which is excellent considering the movement that's inside it. Now, once adjusted to fit my 17cm wrist, it weighs in at about 131 grams, and in my opinion, it wears to size. Unusually, I'm going to show you the bracelet in class first, because for many of you this may be the elephant in the room. It's got nicely fitting female end links, which is good. It's got quick release spring bars, which is also good. It's got well engineered screw pins for adjustment, which is very good. And it's got a very nice signed and brushed on the fly adjustable clasp, which is excellent. However, the centre links of this oyster style bracelet are polished, which many will say isn't good. Needless to say, on this colour option those links are gold, which I don't normally like, but I do think they suit this watch quite nicely. Now, if this bracelet was all silver in colour, I'd probably brush it myself. That's quite easy, however I'm not sure what it looked like on this one. Now, apparently though, it's got an 18 karat gold plating, which is very nice, I suppose. To be fair, the bracelet is actually very good. It's just about whether or not it's going to suit your taste. Now, here are a few photos of it on a couple of straps I've got hanging around. Allowing you to tell the time is the Seiko NH34 automatic calibre, which is basically an NX35 with a GMT complication. These are reliable workhorse movements, and if regulated correctly, are all most people ever need. It's a 3 Hz movement that ticks away at 21,600 beats per hour, hacks and winds, and it's got a power reserve of 43 hours. In reality, this is running at about -5 seconds a day, but let's see what it looks like on the time grapher. Moving from right to left, the beat error is very good at 0.2. The amplitude at 222 does look a little bit low, however this is common with NH movements. Now, the rate at +1 second a day looks very good, however I know from experience dial up at +7 is about perfect, so this will run just a little bit slow. Worth noting, this is a cooler GMT as opposed to a true GMT, meaning the GMT hand is operated separately rather than the hour hand. I don't believe one is actually better than the other personally, but it's worth noting, if you get a true GMT, you don't get a quick set date. which may prove a pain if you bother to set the date, which in actual fact I never do. The gold-plated 6mm crown screws down, is signed, and is quite nicely knurled. As usual with this particular movement, winding is very pleasant, and the setting of the time is a piece of cake. I would say though, if it were me, I would have kept the crown stainless, in order the gold plating doesn't wear off. That's just a minor point. Let's have a look at this gorgeous dial then, shall we? There's a bicoloured GMT ring, which I would describe as coffee at the top and cream at the bottom, with the 24-hour markers that then lead into a minute track. All that looks really good against that matte brown dial. The 3, 12 and 9 indices are numerals, whilst the rest are what I would describe as shark teeth, all of which are gold in colour. Now at the 6 o'clock we've got a framed date window, which is my personal favourite position for a date, and under the 12 is the Maystone logo, which I think is excellent, and below that the word Maystone. Now above the 6 o'clock it reads Prosperity, Automatic, GMT. I tend to think that perhaps that's one line of text too many. The Dauphine hands are filled with C3 loom, as is the tip of the orange GMT hand. There's also loom pips above each index. The loom for this type of watch is reasonable, but don't expect diver performance. Here's a speeded up clip of that loom. The case is very nicely finished. Now the bezel and the tops of the twisted lugs are polished, which suits this type of watch perfectly, and the sides are horizontally brushed. Now the brushing is a tad coarse, but I suspect this is part of the design. Now the case curves down a little, meaning it fits beautifully to the back of the wrist. Turning the watch over, you can see the case back screws down to aid its claimed 100 metres of water resistance. It's brushed with the Maystone logo engraved, with some basic information around the sides. Look carefully and you can see this is number 41 of 100. So what do I think of the Maystone Prosperity? Well, if I can learn to live with the polished gold coloured centre links, I'm sure I'll get to love it, but that's the big question. Now I do like a bit of diversity in my collection though, so I'll do my best. Certainly for the price, it's well spec'd, and like I said earlier, it's well priced for a British microband. Would I recommend one though? Yes, I think I would. And that brings me to the end of this review, so if you've enjoyed it, please click on the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave your comments below, and as usual, enjoy the rest of your day.